Hey everyone, welcome back to Arbitrary 20. Today we're going to be looking at the Player's Handbook Playtest 7 UA. For this video we're going to be looking specifically at the Sorcerer class.
Alright, yeah, so the first change is to innate sorcery, their first level ability. Now empowers their spell attack rolls and save DCs for a limited time. An event in your past left an indelible mark on you, infusing you with a simmering magic. As a bonus action, you can unleash that magic for 1 minute, during which gain the following benefits. The spell save DC of your sorcerer spells increases by 1, and you have advantage on the attack rolls of sorcerer spells you cast. You get it twice per long rest. So, kind of a cool feature. One thing I notice, super niche, but it just says attack rolls of sorcerer spells. So I think that would still work with like Booming Blade and Green Flame Blade, even though those aren't spell attacks. I think that's the only case where that would come up. But yeah, at least it'll add up on something like Scorching Ray that has a lot of attack rolls.
So you just get to keep having this up the whole time, for that entire minute.
Yeah, concentration free.
Concentration free, if you go down, you still keep it. I don't think that's too strong. It's just advantage.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Gives the sorcerers like a little bit of an edge over a wizard too. And it specifically says sorcerer spells. You can't really just take a dip for this.
Would you say, because I know this was something that people talked about, maybe it was the last playtest, maybe it was the one before, but they were, talking about the issue of like a sorcerer versus wizard not, really having like a clear line on what the class identity was. Do you think this is like a stab at that, maybe?
Well, I think just reverting the change to the spell list kind of does that, honestly. But this helps too. Like the sorcerer was always like slightly weaker than the wizard just because of spell list, but now the sorcerer spells will be a little bit stronger sometimes. So
okay.
I don't know. And then so spell casting returns to using the sorcerer spell list, and then sorcerer's burst and arcane eruption are added to the sorcerer spell list. Which those were I think the two most interesting spells that they added in Playtest 5, and they did buff sorcerer's burst to D8 now that explodes on 8. So a little bit better. Definitely viable now, I think. D8 that slightly higher than a D8's average damage because it explodes, and then you get to choose the damage type you're doing. I think it's a good cantrip now, at least okay.
Yeah, I played it, Playtest 5, playtested that, and I had fun. But I think we all kind of could have agreed that it probably could have done a little bit more. But he was still put in the work for cantrip. So
I think Arcane Eruption's pretty much the same. And then Font of Magic no longer requires a bonus action to convert spell slots into sorcery points. So yeah, now it's just no action required. That is really nice. I'd like that if we had that now in 5e. But to create spell slots, it still takes a bonus action. That's interesting how one of them does, but one of them doesn't. And now Meta Magic is at level 2 and gives you 2 options at level 2 and 2 more at levels 10 and 17. And you can now change one of your options whenever you gain a sorcerer level. Much like the fighter, that's nice for newer players. You can test out a bunch of different meta magics, or just respecking at certain levels when you get a certain spell and you want to change your meta magics. So that's a good change, but effectively will be pretty similar.
Yeah, that seems to be, I guess looking at like Barbarian in the same playtest, we have similar things like that where you can swap stuff out. Just cool to see the, more versatility is good. Just being able to swap stuff out and try it. So it seems like that's kind of the direction they're heading.
And then Sorcerer subclass is now the same as 2014, but it starts at level 3. I think that's fine. I know some people are gonna have like story issues with this, like for the first 2 levels, where does the power come from? Or like, why is everybody's power the same? But I don't know, I think it's fine. I do see their point in wanting it to be new player friendly, where you don't have a subclass until 3rd level, like you get to understand the class for the first 2 levels. So, I think it's okay. 1 level dips in 2014 5e were a little too strong, if we're being honest. Especially Sorcerer and Cleric that had their subclass at level 1. And then Sorcerer's Vitality is gone. Wasn't very good anyway, so don't think I'm going to be missing that.
That was right?
Yeah, it was a 3rd level spell. I think it did 2d6 and could remove a few conditions. Wasn't great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that on the character I played for the playtest, and I don't think I even touched that spell.
Yeah, it wasn't worth using at all.
So there you go.
And then Sorceress Restoration, which was there, which was at 15th level, moved to level 5, and then if you have no sorcery points when you roll initiative, this feature restores a certain number. I'm not a huge fan of this one, because having to be out of sorcery points just kind of sucks. So when you roll initiative or finish a short rest, you have no sorcery points remaining. You regain a number of points equal to your level divided by 5, your sorcery level divided by 5. So when you get this, you regain 1 sorcery point if you have none. Why can't you just regain a sorcery? Why do you have to have none?
Yeah, I mean, even at, you only get 4 at level 20, right? Is that how math works?
Which, I mean,
Yeah.
like, through sorcery point spell slot conversion, you can just make spell slots until you have 0 before a short rest to guarantee you get 1 back.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still just so dumb. Like, why do
Yeah.
you need to do that?
Yeah, I mean, this one was there in the last playtest, and I think we had issues with it then as well.
Well, it's definitely better now. Like, this is... If they were just removed that line that says, and have no sorcery points remaining, like, great feature.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because then, when you roll initiative or finish a short rest, depending on how many combats you have, that's like 5 to 8 sorcery points, potentially even more a day. You just get back. Over a whole day, I think that's good.
And that honestly might make a sorcerer feel, I don't know, if more powerful than wizard is probably not something there, but more powerful, like as
By the
powerful.
end of the day, it would
Yeah.
be on the level of arcane recovery.
Yeah, like it would feel good then. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they just removed that line, it would be so nice.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Sorcery Incarnate has moved from level 9 to 7 and has been redesigned to enhance innate sorcery. So while your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use up to 2 of your meta magic options on each spell you cast. In addition, if you have no uses of innate sorcery left, you can spend 2 sorcery points when you take the bonus action to activate it. You can use it more than twice per long rest now if you use 2 sorcery points. 2 meta magic options is kind of cool. I don't know how much you would use that, because it'd become pretty costly pretty fast.
Yeah. What would you stack? I guess you could do like Quicken with...
I mean, Quicken and Heightened would be kind of crazy,
Yeah.
but it'd be really expensive.
Yeah, that's, what, half your pool?
Or like Quicken and Transmute, maybe. Quicken and Careful. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different options.
I mean, if they fixed the wording of the level 5 feature, that might feel a little bit better at level 7.
Oh yeah, I think the cost is fine there.
Mhm.
Honestly, sorcery, innate sorcery is definitely worth 2 sorcery points, I think.
For sure.
Another one I just thought of, Subtle Spell and Heightened Spell with the new Counter Spell, which we'll get. Heightened Spell with the new Counter Spell is actually a pretty cool combo, but I mean, we'll get into that in another video
Yes,
where we're
another
going to
video.
talk about spells, yeah. Because we have a lot more to say about the new Counter Spell. And then lastly, Arcane Apotheosis has moved to level 20 and has been redesigned to enhance innate sorcery. I really liked the old one. I just think they should have removed the fact that you didn't take the casting stress on Wish, but getting Wish always prepared and stuff was cool. But now it's while your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use 1 meta magic option on each of your turns without spending sorcery points. It's pretty cool. That'll end up saving you a lot of resources.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I don't really fully remember off the top of my head what the previous feature was, but being able to use your meta magic for free, I mean, that's kind of how like that's how sorcerers work, you know? Meta magic's a huge part of that. I personally feel like it could be a little bit better for a capstone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's definitely like helpful. I don't really think it's like that
Maybe
crazy.
it's like both of the meta magics you use are both free. But I mean, I feel like over time you're going to save a lot of sorcery points with that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, as it sits, I think it's pretty good because it's just going to help you out a lot long term. But looking at like how capstones should be, yeah.
It's like, well, I mean, it seems like it's not that great, but I don't know. I honestly think it's fine. What? So, average combat's 4 rounds. You get 2 uses baseline of innate sorcery. Say you're spending 2 sorcery points a turn. That's 16 sorcery that you gain from this.
Yeah.
You only have 20.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get that. You're basically getting almost
Yeah.
double your pool.
And then you spend 2, you get another 8.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's just free money at that point.
It's
right?
free money. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm a little bit off.
Because like even your cantrips, you can just use a sorcery point on your cantrips for free. Like you can heighten spell all of your cantrips just for free.
I see it. Yeah.
Will greatly increase their damage.
Yes.
Well, I mean not greatly, but small damage increase.
It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not seeing the full potential of this. I guess I would just have to see it.
I agree, it maybe could be. I think the last one was better, but I definitely don't think this one's bad.
I think that's a consensus between the two of us, yeah.
And then meta magic updates. Distant spell returns to doubling range. Not sure what it was before. Oh, it might have been like 30 times your sorcerer level or something like that. Is that what they did? I don't remember. But yeah, anyway, distant spell returns to doubling range. Either way, it's just a lot more range, which comes up sometimes. Seeking spell now costs 1 point rather than 2. I think that's been a long time coming for that one. That's the one, yeah. If you roll an attack roll for a spell and miss, you can spend 1 sorcery point to reroll. And you can use Seeking Spell even if you've already used a different meta magic option. So once you get Sorcery Incarnate, you can potentially do 3 in one go. And then Subtle Spell now clarifies that it doesn't remove material components that have a cost specified. Affected spell. Not say that before? Or material components, except material can be consumed by the spell or that have a cost specified. I want to see what it was in the base game now. Subtle Spell. Yeah, okay, in the base game it just removes somatic and verbal. So in Playtest 5 they must have made it so it removed material components as well. But maybe that created a problem where you could remove costly components as well. I don't think I realized that last time. And then Twin Spell has some of its previous multi-targeting functionality, but now within appropriate limits. Again, I don't think it was that overpowered before, but now if you cast a spell like Charm Person or Hold Person that can upcast 2 target additional creatures already, you can spend a sorcery point and increase the spell's effective level by 1. So you can upcast spells like that for slightly cheaper, basically. Which isn't bad, but I mean, this is to a point where I don't even know if I would ever choose this, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the restriction is just, I don't know. I know, as we've talked before, Twin Spell with Polymorph or whatever is
there were some OP
pretty unethical, but I don't know, this just kind of feels a little bit too much of a restriction.
Yeah, I honestly kind of liked the last one. To be like, I honestly wish they would just make another one called Repeat Spell, and they just
it was fun.
Keep that last one.
I think in the playtest I was juggling like Fireball or something like every turn. I was like just rolling it or something. Yeah,
and the second Fireball's cheaper.
Yeah,
it
was a good time.
I honestly thought the last one was kind of cool. I think it was just a completely different thing than the previous Twin Spell, but it was interesting after playtesting with it, yeah. So, I don't know. This one's okay. But yeah, that's all of the meta magic changes. So we'll go on to the subclasses. Draconic Sorcery is the first one. Dragon Speech now gives you the Draconic language, and while creatures of the dragon type understand your speech, you don't necessarily understand them. Huh?
What?
You can speak, read, and write in Draconic. In addition, your speech can be understood by all creatures of the dragon type. But I mean, that's probably just like a roleplay thing, and however your DM wants to. It's more of a ribbon feature anyway. I'm not too worried about that. But
yeah, that's just oddly specified there for some reason.
And then Dragon Wings, once again, allows you to sprout wings without relying on a spell. So as a bonus action, you sprout wings, gaining a fly speed equal to your speed. They last until you dismiss them as a bonus action or until you have the incapacitated condition. When the wings manifest, you decide whether they're spectral or physical. If physical, you mustn't be wearing something that obstructs them. Is that pretty much the same as it was before?
Seems like it.
Bar, Dragon Wings. Yes, that's pretty much how it was in 5e, which is good because the last time they nerfed them really hard.
Yeah, I don't think they used that.
Jeremy Crawford twice in videos said because it was at a higher level, but it's been at 14th level the entire time, which is really funny. That is what it is. It's back where it should be.
Yeah.
And then Draconic Presence replaces Draconic Exhalation. Feature is now a bonus action and doesn't require concentration. So you can channel the Dread Presence of Dragons. As a bonus action, you can spend 5 sorcery points to draw on this power and exude an aura of awe or fear, your choice. Within 60 feet for 1 minute or until you have the incapacitated condition, each creature of your choice that starts its turn in this aura must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC and have the charmed or frightened condition if you chose awe or fear respectively, until the creature is outside the aura. 5 sorcery points is a bit costly, but doesn't require concentration. It's pretty good control ability.
Yeah, I like it. It replaced the exhalation, which I think was just basically...
It wasn't great.
Just breathe fire, right? Or
It
something
interacted
like that.
with Sorcerer's Burst, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
This is much better. I like the replacement they did. You have you get to choose when you spend the points, I guess. So
Well, it lasts for a minute. It's just a bonus action for the entire combat. You're just gonna be frightened is probably the better choice. Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah,
I
I think it's a better feature than what they had before. This is a lot better.
So yeah, overall some nice upgrades there to Draconic Sorcery. And then on to Wild Magic. Wild Magic Surge no longer requires DM permission. Yeah, so no more than once per turn you can roll a d20 immediately after you cast a Sorcerer spell with a spell slot. If you roll a 20, you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table. We're using the same table in the player's handbook, at least right now. And then if it's a spell, you can't use meta magic on it, and if it requires concentration, it doesn't require concentration. It lasts for the full duration. And then Tides of Chaos is now also no DM permission and is guaranteed to give you a roll on the Wild Magic Surge table. So you can give yourself advantage on a d20 test. Once you do, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest, or immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot. Before you regain the use of this feature, you automatically roll on the Wild Magic Surge table and regain the use of this feature. So you can give yourself advantage on like a saving throw or something, and then immediately after you cast a spell, roll on the Wild Magic Surge and you get your advantage back. Honestly, not bad now, because before the DM got to choose when you did the Wild Magic, so sometimes it would just be never, and this was just a once per long rest advantage. But now you can do this all the time. You could get advantage 10 times in a day relatively easily, which is pretty nice, honestly.
You can kind of juggle this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously there's going to be some ridiculous things that happen with Wild Magic.
But that's why you picked the class, though.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, even from like an optimization point of view, Wild Magic doesn't even seem that bad now.
Yeah.
Because obviously that'd be the best thing to use it on is saving throws, probably, or maybe some really important ability checks. But I mean, I like it now, honestly.
Yeah. Well, even just simply like removing the whole DM permission thing makes it a lot better. But now, like, much better. I like it.
Yeah. If we playtest this, I might try this. And then at level 6. You get Bend Luck. So immediately after another creature you can see rolls the d20 for a d20 test, you can spend a sorcery point to roll a d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or a penalty to the creature's roll. Before, I think this was 2 sorcery points. Yes, that was the change. So half the cost, which is pretty nice. I think 1 sorcery point was fair for that. Anyway, in the video, Jeremy Crawford said this is a D6 now. I still see D4 there, so I'm not sure exactly what he was talking about there. That'd be cool if it was a D6. It's still a D4.
Yeah, and I guess since it's a D4, we just have to keep running it as a D4 regardless of what he says.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain if it ended up as a D6 though.
Yeah, higher the number the better, right?
Yeah. And then I really like this change. Wild Bombardment now allows you to use a Wild Magic Surge effect that casts a spell or replenishes your expended sorcery points. So immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot, you can create an effect of your choice from the Wild Magic Surge table, provided the effect casts a spell or restores all of your expended sorcery points, and you can't do so again until you finish 1d4 long rest. So this is crazy compared to what it was before. Before, this was called Spell Bombardment, and when you roll damage for a spell and roll the highest number possible on any of the dice, you choose one of those dice and you roll it again and add it to the damage roll, and you can only do that once per turn. So, this terrible compared to what this is now.
This is amazing.
Yeah, so the 99 to 100 option is you regain all expended sorcery points. If you use this when you're at 1 or 2 and you get like all 20 back, this is insane recovery.
Yeah, I mean, if you really need it, it's going to be really helpful.
And I mean, the spell options aren't too bad either. You can Fireball, Magic Missile, Confusion, Grease, Levitate, Fog Cloud, Mirror Image, Fly. There's some okay options, but I mean, obviously you're probably going to use it to just regain all your expended sorcery points.
Yeah, I guess the cool part about this is it's like you can see a progression in I guess, your improvement being a sorcerer. Like you start out at the beginning not really like controlling your stuff very well, and then towards the end you can just like do it. From like a story standpoint, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I do like it. You slowly get a little bit better at controlling the wild magic.
Overall, good job on this one. I like it.
What would be really crazy is if you choose to regain all your sorcery points and then you roll it as well. A day where you have like 60 sorcery points.
That would be nuts.
Looks like that's all there is for Sorcerer. If you'd like to check out the last video where we talked about the fighter, you can check that out right here. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.